New Judas Priest album, Obrit Culture's secret sauce, and Megadeth are going back to their roots. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Bayley's gift. Former Iron Maiden frontman Bayley finally kicked off his long-awaited The X Factor 30th Anniversary Tour, celebrating 3 decades since the release of Maiden's most divisive, but in all honesty, one of my absolute favorite albums. The tour kicked off yesterday at the Keep It True festival in Germany, and Blaze performed the entire record live. Yes, including Look for the Truth and The Unbeliever, the songs which sadly Iron Maiden themselves never played live, despite the whole fact that fans have been begging them to do that for decades now. But the biggest surprise of all was the whole fact that Bayley, in addition to all that, also performed the song Justice of the Peace, a B-side from the Man on the Edge single released on the 25th of September in 1995, the song that never made it on the X Factor album, and the track that was never played live before that, neither by Iron Maiden nor by Bayley himself.
Justice of the Beast!
And there were, of course, quite a lot of metal pilgrims attending that show, and according to pretty much all the comments I've received online so far, Blaze sounded simply incredible, and actually exactly the same like it did on the record, which was released 30 years ago. And by the way, towards the end of the Keep It True festival, there was another very special surprise for all the die-hard Iron Maiden fans. When Bayley joined on stage another 3 early Iron Maiden members, those being Terry Rance, Terry Warpham, and the legendary drummer Thunderstick, for a very special rendition of the early Iron Maiden classics. By the way, guys, a couple of days ago I actually released a special episode on the X Factor, which if you haven't seen yet, you should definitely check out right after watching this video. But today I just want to point out that I'm so extremely happy to see the X Factor finally getting its dues. And not only from Blaze, but according to the attendance of that festival, from the fans themselves as well. As in my opinion, it is actually possibly the most overlooked Iron Maiden album, and it definitely deserves all the praise. Here guys, super quick, I just simply have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the channel, so if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really, and I mean like really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Surprise from Lamb of God. After 3 years of silence, Lamb of God are finally back with a brand new single, Sepsis. Produced by longtime collaborator Josh Wilbur, the track is dark, menacing, and pure Lamb of God energy. And it also comes with a lo-fi performance video directed by Gianfranco Svagel, shot in Richmond, Virginia, capturing that gritty underground vibe of the band's hometown. Guitarist Mark Morton actually explained that Sepsis is a tribute to the Richmond underground scene and the bands that inspired them back in their Burn the Priest days. Groups like Breadwinners, Lion Lass, and Lady Finger. And thus it is a direct line back to their roots, which I absolutely love. And not just the song itself, but the whole fact that the Lamb of God are actually promoting those bands for more and more people to check those out. And I don't know about you, but I definitely will. Because if I'm being honest, I actually didn't know about a bunch of those. And if they sound anything like Sepsis, well, I'm actually all for it. Overall, this release caps off a massive 2025 for Lamb of God, celebrating their 25th anniversary, performing at the historic Back to the Beginning concert, covering Sabbath's Children of the Grave, and headlining festivals all across the United States. And in my opinion, it is actually quite symbolic that to end the celebrations of this anniversary, Lamb of God released a song which takes them right back to where it all began.
I'll be to take it to the reason I will burn you.
Here, as always, a huge shout out to all of the YouTube channel members and all of the patrons. Guys, it is thanks to all of you and thanks to everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch that I am able to release these videos. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And by the way, there are actually a couple of videos available in early access for all of you. So please do not miss those. A marketing lesson from Candlemess. So here's the funny twist. When Candlemess announced that their iconic frontman Messiah Marcolin will reunite with them, but just for that one very special show at Rock Hard Festival in Greece, the band repeated a gazillion times that it was only one night. No more, no less. But now it looks like it might be not just one night, as Messiah Marcolin himself actually says that he actually would like to continue doing this.
Wait a minute!
The Athens concert on September 13th drew about 4,500 fans from 40 countries, and Messiah says it felt like magic to be back with the band after nearly 20 years, and he even compared playing with Candlemess to an Addams Family reunion. And thus, if they will receive right offers, he actually would love to reunite together with Candlemass. And it looks like the final word right now is left for Leif Adling. And here's the thing, I actually think that it's kind of weird. And no, not the reunion itself, I mean, that's actually pretty cool, and that's exactly what fans seem to want, right? I mean, that's a big deal for them. But seriously, when earlier this year fans were asking the band whether there is even a slight chance of Candlemass doing it more than once, they said that there's simply no chance in hell for that. And now it looks like there is actually one, which in my opinion is just a classic example of, well, a cheesy marketing. Megadeth Tipping Point. So, it is here. Megadeth have just unleashed Tipping Point, the first single from their upcoming and sadly their last studio album ever. This release also marks the first studio recording to feature guitarist Te Amo Mentisari, who replaced Kiko Loureiro in 2023, and the first album with the bassist James LaManza back in the fold since Endgame, which was released all the way back in 2009. And it looks like it will actually be the opening track from Megadeth's upcoming self-titled album, which will see the light of day in late January. And here right away I just want to share my feelings about it. On one hand, Tipping Point is very straightforward, possibly more straightforward than pretty much anything Megadeth released on their latest studio output, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. But at the same time, at least to me, this track has this undeniable early Megadeth feeling, and possibly is the closest to the early era of Megadeth than anything I've seen this band do in the past couple of decades. Which I guess is kind of symbolic that Dave Mustaine releases this song as the first taste of their upcoming final studio album, as I guess the whole point of Megadeth's upcoming Megadeth album would be to celebrate everything Megadeth have done throughout the years. And that means an all-embracive journey through their entire career. And at least to me, that track actually perfectly captures the straightforwardness and the aggression of those early days.
Smashed in your sleeve in the blackest night.
But separately from everything, I just have to point out the exquisite guitar work on this track. As in addition to a very clear and crisp production, we also get a razor-sharp guitar work by Te Amo Mentisari, who, at least to me, sounds like a mix of Marty, Kiko, and Chris Broderick, all in one person. Put together with Dave Mustaine delivered not only some crushing riffs, but also some of the most amazing and brutal solos this band has done in a long time. So yeah, despite the whole fact that haters will hate and there will be quite a lot of people who will say that, hey, this is absolutely nothing new, well, I actually love this song, and at least to me, it looks like this album is supposed to be nothing new. And Tipping Point, which is basically a classic textbook Megadeth, is pretty much exactly the thing which I personally would like to hear from the band on their final studio record. By the way, guys, alongside this announcement, they've also, of course, announced the pre-order for the upcoming album, which is available in a bunch of cool formats, including the Cremains Guitar Ash-filled vinyl, which contains ashes from the burnt remains of a guitar Dave Mustaine used to record Megadeth's final studio record, which I think is pretty awesome. But there is one problem with it. It gets sold out in just a matter of a couple of minutes. So come on, Dave, burn another one. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 latest metal releases from this week, which, although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention. Bay Area thrash legends Forbidden are back with Mutually Assured Dysfunction, their second new single in over 15 years, following Twisted Into Form. The track was released via Nuclear Blast and continues the band's aggressive comeback with new frontman Norman Skinner. According to the band, the song is about people getting trapped in endless cycles of conflict where truth is lost in empty words. A full-length album is currently in the works, but no official information about it is available yet. Metalcore veterans The Devil Wears Prada dropped Ice, the second single from their upcoming 9th studio album Flowers, out November 15th via Solid State Records. The track dives into themes of disillusionment and emotional distance, featuring dynamic shifts between melodic hooks and crushing breakdowns. The accompanying puppet-themed music video visualizes the song's eerie, internalized tension.
Tell me
Ukrainian blackened death metal outfit 1914 returned with their second single from the upcoming album Viribus Unitis, out November 14th via Napalm Records. Titled simply 1914, the track plunges into the brutal realities of the Siege of Przemyśl, one of the World War I's longest and deadliest battles. Thundering doom riffs and ghostly wartime samples set the scene as the band continues to merge historical storytelling with sonic devastation. Viribus Unitis expands the band's narrative scope from 1914 to 1919, exploring not just war's brutality, but also the endurance, unity, and shattered lives of soldiers returning from the front. Swedish metal eccentrics Avatar unveiled Death and Blitz, the lead single from their upcoming album Don't Go in the Forest, due October 31st, 2025 via 30 Tigers. Vocalist Johannes Eckerstrom describes the track as a sardonic celebration of ego and fame. The song, of course, arrives with a chaotic, glam-tingled visualizer directed by longtime collaborator Johan Karlsson. New Swedish death metal act Fimbul Winter, featuring former Monomorph members Fredrik Andersson, Anders Bjatsi, and Nico Kaukinen, released their debut single Mounds of Stones. The first track from their forthcoming debut EP What Once Was, out November 14th. The band says the song tells the story of someone shaped by suffering and remembered only by silence, and the stone mounds left behind. Session bassist Tobias Christiansson, ex-Entombed AD, also appears on the EP. Nuno Betencourt Guitars. Big move from Extreme's Nuno Betencourt. This week he has officially launched his own guitar company, Nuno Guitars. And this of course marks the end of his long partnership with Washburn and gives him total creative control over design, innovation, and craftsmanship. The first models, the Dark Horse and the White Stallion, debuted alongside his iconic N4, plus an all-new signature acoustic. Nuno says the idea is to create guitars with the same passion he's always put into his music. Once you own a Nuno guitar, you're part of my family. Let's ride, said Nuno in his press release. And if you're interested in those, you can actually already register to pre-order those guitars at nunoguitars.com. Although at this point, absolutely no specifications are actually given about those. But nevertheless, I just want to point out that Nuno actually has chosen the time to create his own brand pretty wisely, as although of course he's a legendary name in the world of rock and roll and all that, but it is in the last couple of months, and especially after his iconic performances at the Black Sabbath's Back to the Beginning and a bunch of others as well, that his name sounds from pretty much every media outlet you can imagine. So yeah, good job, Nuno. Metal Chat with Obrit Culture. Those who are not new to this channel know that one of the newer metal bands that I'm currently most excited about is the band Obrit Culture, who, by the way, are about to drop their newest studio album, Death Above Life, next week. So, in honor of this release, in this week's Metal Chat, welcome nobody else but Niklas from Obrit Culture.
If you don't mind me asking, Obrit Culture is one of the fastest growing modern metal outfits out there in the world. Why do you think it is so? Why do you think, what is the key to such a streamlined success compared to many other outfits who are struggling to get the tours that you guys were getting, for much longer?
I started this band in 2013, and I mean, absolutely nothing happened for 5-6 years.
Really?
Because, I didn't have like a network or anything. We were, especially coming from here, we were 2 hours away from Gothenburg. We were 3 or 4 hours away from Stockholm. So even like the local scenes, they had no clue what we were doing here in the rural parts. So I think like just continuing. Mm-hmm. I think from the outside, we, for the average fan or whatever, it looks like we've been around for maybe 3 years, but in reality we've been around now for 12. But I think just being consistent and continue, and if it is a real passion, I don't think it's that hard, because what's hard is keeping a group together. But if you have that passion yourself, people are gonna come to you.
Full interview with Niklas is actually already available on our second channel, MP2, which, by the way, if you're still not subscribed to, you should definitely do right after watching this video, because most of the interviews are actually migrated there. But for now, I just wanted to point out that if you still haven't heard Obrit Culture, and especially if you're a fan of modern metal, well, this is definitely one of those bands you simply cannot miss. So change that right after watching this Metal Digest. Amazing news from Saxon. Great news from the Saxon camp. Frontman Biff Byford has announced he's officially finished chemotherapy following his treatment for bowel cancer. And this, of course, is simply amazing news. In the new video message, Biff said he's going to focus on getting back in shape, working on vocals for the next Saxon album, and rehearsing for the band's UK Hell, Fire and Steel tour, which kicks off on November 3rd in Belfast. So just a couple of weeks after the end of his treatment. And here, I think that on behalf of all the metal pilgrims from all over the world, I just want to say, Biff, you're a freaking legend! No, seriously, not many people in this world have as much love for their fans and for heavy metal overall as Biff does. So yeah guys, if you have a chance to catch this tour, definitely do that, as in addition to everything, these shows will also feature the full Wheels of Steel album performed live for the very last time in the United Kingdom, with special guests Udo Dirkschneider, who will be performing Balls to the Wall in full, and the new wave of British heavy metal legends Tigers of Pantan, which definitely makes it pure gold for all of the fans of classic heavy metal. New Judas Priest album. Big news from the metal gods. Judas Priest are heading back to the studio in 2026 to record the follow-up to their Invincible Shield. In a new interview, bassist Ian Hill revealed that the band already has a head start on songwriting, with Richie Faulkner bringing plenty of ideas to the table. And here I'll open a little secret for you, but the truth is that half of those ideas were already at the table right after the end of the Invincible Shield sessions. As when the band started working on that album, Richie Faulkner brought in so many ideas, pretty much all of which were on the same level, that even back then they already had enough quality material for 2 studio records.
I'm a big smash. I'm going for infinity.
Yet at the same time, he'll stress that they're in no rush. The process will take time, but he did confirm that the recording sessions are already booked for 2026, which gives us quite a lot of hope that we will see the 20th studio record from the Metal Gods sometime in 2027. After which they of course will go on a tour to support it.
Obviously, if you have an album, you have to go out and tour with it, you know. So yeah, that'll happen too.
And by the way, if that is true, and we will see the new album in 2027, this will actually mark the shortest break in between two Judas Priest albums we have seen the band do in quite a long time. And that of course is pretty understandable, given Invincible Shield proved Priest are still at the top of their game, hitting number 2 in the United Kingdom charts, their highest placement since British Steel in 1980, and reaching number 1 in a bunch of countries in Europe. So yeah, surprise, surprise. I'm super excited for the 20th studio record from the Metal Gods, on which, given their love for anniversaries, they will, I'm more than sure, do something very special. Oh, and another thing. Something tells me that these might be not the only news we'll hear from the Judas Priest camp in the nearest future. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, spread the word about this channel, and of course join our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, Discord, and pretty much everywhere you can post content these days. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!